Hi boys and girls. Today the sun was shining, so I decided to go out on my deck, a little bit windy, and start writing my realistic fiction. And I took my story arc and I really thought about my character and describing her and really visualizing what happened in my story. And I just sat down and I got started writing. And I'm going to tell you, I, of course, wrote every other line, so it seems like it's much longer, but it got pretty long. But as I went through my realistic fiction, it could happen in real life. It was a real setting, and I actually used my grandma and grandpa chalet as my setting and where it took place. It definitely was a character with real problems, a believable problem, and some part of it was what I did growing up, learning how to snowboard, and I probably, use that experience to help me be able to write it and make it more real. So before we focus on editing, I'm going to read to you my story, and then I'm going to show you a little bit more of what we can do to edit it. So Millie's here, ready to listen. Close your eyes, relax, and see if you can visualize. Maybe you could give me some pointers on how we can edit and make it better. Shh, I heard as the tow rope raced through my gloves before I grabbed on tight. It all started when I was at my grandma and grandpa's chalet. I pulled up my snow pants, put on my winter coat, and tried to tie my snowboarding boots. These are really hard to tie. Ugh, I thought to myself. Dad, I yelled. I know I'm 12, but I cannot get these boots tied tight enough. Will you help me, please? I asked. This was the easiest problem I had of the day. Early on, my dad and I climbed in the Suburban with my snowboard, and we were headed up to the bunny hill. Being 12 on the bunny hill isn't very cool, but you have to start somewhere, I thought to myself. I strapped into my snowboard with my left foot and realized this is hard to even walk with it on. I tried to step with my right and drag the board behind me with my left. I haven't even gotten up to the tow rope and was already feeling defeated, though still excited to give it a try. Dad said, "Here, sweetheart, hold on to my hand," as he pulled me up to the tow rope. At this point, we were still smiling. Next, I'm standing at the tow rope getting directions from Dad, who has never snowboarded, by the way, but he does know how to use a tow rope and taught me to ski. So, still feeling confident, I let the tow rope slide through my gloves. I slowly grabbed on, just like Dad said, set my right foot on the board, not latched in, so when I get to the top, I can walk out a ways, or at least try to. I tightened my grip and boom, I tumbled face forward. My snowboard was twisted with my left foot still latched. At this point, I didn't even know how to get up. Do I roll over or try to stand? I questioned. The other little kids waiting behind me in line just cruised on by up the tow rope without a problem. I tried a few more times and was not successful. Each time, my dad's eyebrows and foreheads continued to droop. He finally said, "Jen, come here." He pulled me halfway up, and I tried to ride down on my board with some control, leaning forward on my toes. Oh, ouch! Leaning back to my heels. Ah! My bottom hurt, my knees hurt, my head was even throbbing from the shock of falling as it rattled my body. I was sweating from continuously falling and getting back up. Before long, it was lunchtime. I had mastered the tow rope finally. It was a good time to head back to the chalet and have a chicken breast and Colby cheese sandwich. Dad seemed to need a break too. His patience was quickly dissolving. My positive vibes were really not that positive, and my body was bruised. After I took time to rest, Grandpa decided to walk up to the bunny hill with me. Yes, someone that knew what he was doing. He was old, but boy was he active. He snowboarded every day. He wears all the gear, a helmet, butt pads. I need those. Wrist guards, and even a catcher's chest pad since he had heart surgery. He taught my brother, so I was back to feeling positive again. In the afternoon, I started out at the top of the bunny hill. "Let's go, dork," Grandpa cheered. I flew down the hill, eyes wide, going straight. I didn't want to catch my edge and fall. Instead, I was racing out of control. I nearly hit Gramps, but luckily, I just sat back and stopped that way. It wasn't very graceful. Of course, Grandpa didn't have one negative thing to say. He gave me pointers on how to turn and stop, cheering me on time and time again. I continued to tumble, roll, and kaboom. Tears rolled down my cheeks. It was dinner time. I wasn't done yet. After dinner, I walked up to the bunny hill alone. It was dark, the stars were shining, and the crowd had died down for the day. The one thing I learned for the day was the tow rope. As I continued up and down the bunny hill, I fell time and time again. Though it hurt me more tonight, maybe because my body was worn out or because the bunny hill was a sheet of ice after all the traffic from the day. Either or, it didn't matter. I was done. I took off my board, put my head down, walked home, and decided rest was the best idea. I thanked Dad and Grandpa for their time, help, and tips. My head hit the pillow, and my dream started. I was riding down the chairlift hill, the big one, curving to the right, leaning on my toes, shifting weight to my heels, and turning left. I was doing it. When I got to the bottom, I stopped with my weight on my heels like a pro. Grandpa, Dad, and Mom were there giving me high fives. In the morning, I woke with a spark of excitement. Sore? Yes, but ready to try it again. I ate my cereal as fast as I could and practiced all morning. That sleep is exactly what I needed. After lunch, the family walked up to watch me, and yes, just like my dream, I did it. Tomorrow, Grandpa's taking me on the chairlift. I can't wait.